That was the rule she lived by when she went undercover, blend into the background. Order what anyone else would order. Never draw attention. No assistants hovering nearby. No driver waiting at the curb. No security scanning the room, just her. A quiet table by the window, and a menu that smelled faintly of grease and garlic. To the world, she was Lena Hart, a freelance consultant passing through town. No one here knew she owned half the skyline 3 cities over. That her name could move markets or end careers. Tonight, she wanted anonymity more than luxury. Especially tonight. The waiter arrived with a practiced smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Good evening," he said. "Can I start you with something to drink?" His voice was calm, but tired in a way Lena recognized. The kind of tired that sleep didn't fix. "Water is fine," she said, returning the smile. He nodded and scribbled quickly, then hesitated. "Any allergies?" "No." "All right. I'll be right back." As he walked away, Lena noticed the slight limp in his step. The way he favored his left leg just enough to matter. She also noticed how he checked every table on his way to the kitchen, eyes scanning, counting, calculating, not for tips. For something else. She shook the thought away. She wasn't here to analyze people. She was here to disappear for an hour. When he returned, he set the water down carefully, like he'd learned it the hard way what happened when you rushed. "Are you ready to order?" "Yes, I'll have the rye medium with the house potatoes." "Of course," he wrote it down, then paused again, pen hovering. "Would you like the peppercorn sauce?" She almost said no. Then she shrugged. "Sure." Another small nod. Another glance she couldn't quite read. When he left, Lena leaned back in her chair and exhaled. The restaurant was warm, filled with the low hum of conversation and clinking silverware. Families, couples, a few solo diners like her. No one looked twice. Good. She didn't see the waiter again for several minutes. When she did, he was carrying the plates. Moving fast, he set one down at the neighboring table, exchanged a few words, then came to her. The steak was perfect, seared just right, juices pooling at the edge. The potatoes steamed softly. "Anything else I can get you?" he asked. She shook her head. "This is great. Thank you." As she reached for her knife, she noticed something folded beneath the edge of her plate. At first, she assumed it was a receipt or some kind of promotional card. Then she realized he was still standing there, watching her, not her face, but her hands. Her fingers froze slowly. She slid the plate aside and picked up the folded paper. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second. Whatever she saw there made her stomach tighten. "Enjoy your meal," he said, voice steady. Then he turned and walked away. Lena unfolded the note. 3 lines, neatly written. "Your name isn't Lena Hart. You're not here by accident. If you want to leave alive, don't react." Her pulse slammed into her throat. For a moment, the restaurant noise faded, replaced by a dull roar in her ears. She forced herself to breathe, to keep her face neutral, to cut into the steak like nothing in the world had changed. This had never happened before. She'd been followed, threatened, blackmailed, but never like this. Never by a stranger in an apron in a place this ordinary. She scanned the room without moving her head. No obvious weapons, no one staring too hard. The waiter was at the bar now, pouring water, his posture relaxed, like he hadn't just detonated a bomb at her table. She took a bite she couldn't taste. Her mind raced through possibilities. Paparazzi? No. Criminal. Too subtle. Law enforcement. Unlikely. They didn't warn you to stay calm if they were about to arrest you. Another bite. Another breath. She waited. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The waiter returned to check on her. Eyes carefully blank. "Everything okay?" "Perfect," she said. "Best steak I've had in a while." Something flickered across his face. Relief. Or something closer to gratitude. "Can I get you dessert?" "No." "Thank you," he nodded. As he reached to clear her plate, his fingers brushed the table and another folded. Note appeared beneath her napkin. This one was shorter. "Bathroom. 2 minutes. Last stall." Her instincts screamed no, but curiosity and something deeper, something lonelier overruled them. She waited exactly 2 minutes, stood, and walked toward the restroom with unhurried steps. The bathroom was empty. Fluorescent lights buzzed softly. She moved to the last stall and locked the door behind her. A voice spoke from the other side, low and careful. "Thank you for coming. Who are you?" she asked. "Someone who recognized you," he said, "and someone who needs your help." She laughed quietly, sharp and humorless. "You threatened me, then asked for help. I warned you," he replied. "There's a difference." She considered him through the thin metal partition. "How do you know who I am?" There was a pause. "My wife worked for one of your companies," he said. "Before she died." The words landed heavier than the note had. "I'm sorry," Lena said automatically. She collapsed at her desk. He continued. "Aneurysm, no warning, no history. The company sent flowers, a letter. Then they fought the insurance payout for a year." Lena closed her eyes. "I sued," he said. "Lost, then I lost the house, then I lost everything else." She swallowed. "What does this have to do with me?" "Because you don't know," he said, "and because you would want to." She hesitated. "My security team." "You don't have one tonight," he said gently. "You stopped using them after the incident in Zurich. You started traveling alone." New name, new routines. Her blood ran cold. "You're careful," he said, "but you're also human. You still eat. You still sit by windows. And you still carry guilt." Silence stretched between them. "My son is in the hospital," he said finally. 8 years old. Heart condition. Surgery in 3 weeks. I can't afford it." Lena leaned against the stall door, the cold metal grounding her. "And you thought scaring me was the best way to ask for money." "No," he said. "I thought telling you the truth was." She considered that. "Why me?" she asked. "Because you're not the person the headlines say you are," he replied. "And because I saw you crying in your car after you left the cemetery last month." Her breath caught. "That was my mother," she whispered before she could stop herself. "I know," he said. For the first time, fear gave way to something else, recognition. "Open the door," she said. There was a pause. Then the lock clicked. He stood there, taller up close, older than she'd first thought. Lines etched deep into his face, eyes worn thin by responsibility. "My name is Daniel," he said. "I'm not your enemy." She studied him. The limp, the exhaustion, the quiet dignity. "I believe you," she said. "But this wasn't the way." "I know," he said. "I didn't know another." They returned to the dining room separately. Lena paid her bill and left a tip larger than the restaurant's daily take. Daniel watched her go, unsure if he'd just ruined everything. 2 days later, the hospital called him. The surgery was covered, fully funded, anonymous donor. A week after that, a lawyer contacted him about reopening his wife's case. A month later, Lena returned to the restaurant. This time, she ordered dessert. When Daniel brought it, she slid a folded note across the table. It read, "Next time, just ask." Their eyes met, and for the first time since his world had collapsed, Daniel smiled without fear. And Lena, the lonely billionaire who'd ordered a steak just to feel normal, realized that sometimes the smallest tables were where the biggest changes began.